FIFA can be described as the United Nations of football. In fact, it's arguably even more powerful than the United Nations itself. Although most people see FIFA as the world's largest sports organization, it has also become one of the most profitable business empires on the planet. Behind the glamour of the beautiful game lies a long history of financial scandals, many of which FIFA has never been forced to answer for. In some cases, even the world's most powerful nations have found themselves powerless against FIFA's decisions. That is why the race for the FIFA presidency often resembles the tactics of organized crime, rather than a democratic election. Bribery, political bargaining, backroom deals. Over the years, they have become part of the system. In this episode, we'll explore how FIFA transformed itself into what many critics call a football mafia. In its early years, FIFA was nothing more than an amateur organization, but everything changed after the 1974 FIFA presidential election, when the organization began operating more like a global corporation than a governing body for football. The man behind that transformation was João Havelange, the president of the Brazilian Sports Confederation. He realized that FIFA's global influence could be transformed into enormous political and financial power. After every FIFA World Cup, member nations vote to elect a new FIFA president. Each country receives one vote, regardless of its size or footballing success. During the 1974 election campaign, Havelange promised massive development programs to African nations. At the same time, he reportedly used bribery to secure support from several member associations. As a result, he defeated the incumbent British president, Stanley Rouse, and became FIFA's new president. Once in power, his first objective was clear: to turn FIFA into a highly profitable business. The problem was, FIFA had very little money at the time. Despite his promises of development projects, the organization simply didn't have the financial resources to deliver them. To solve that problem, Havelange brought Sepp Blatter into FIFA. Ironically, Blatter would later spend 17 years as FIFA president himself, eventually becoming one of the most controversial and corruption-linked figures in the organization's history. Blatter joined FIFA in 1974. Just 2 years later, in 1976, he convinced Coca-Cola to become an official FIFA sponsor. That agreement marked the beginning of a new era. Sepp Blatter was among the first sports executives to fully embrace the modern concept of global corporate sponsorship. Soon after, FIFA and Coca-Cola launched several football development initiatives around the world. From that point on, money began flowing into FIFA. Companies such as Adidas, Gillette, Philips, Canon, and many other global brands rushed to become FIFA sponsors. And that's how football gradually evolved from a simple sport into one of the world's most profitable commercial products. After becoming FIFA president, João Havelange reportedly gave Adidas special advantages in exchange for bribes. Adidas, in return, used its relationship with FIFA to expand its global business. The company supplied everything from football boots and jerseys to official match balls. Later, Adidas owner Horst Dassler established a sports marketing company called ISL. ISL purchased FIFA's television broadcasting rights and stadium advertising rights, then resold them to television networks around the world for significantly higher prices. As television audiences continued to grow, ISL generated enormous profits. At the same time, Havelange allegedly became incredibly wealthy through kickbacks connected to those deals. Beginning with the 1982 FIFA World Cup, FIFA's revenues skyrocketed. Under Havelange's leadership, the organization transformed from a nearly bankrupt institution into a multi-million-dollar global business. From that point forward, FIFA's executive members also began enjoying increasingly luxurious lifestyles. After remaining in power for so many years, Havelange had effectively become the uncrowned emperor of FIFA. But eventually, the greatest threat to Havelange's empire came from someone he trusted the most, his own protege, Sepp Blatter. Eventually, Sepp Blatter began blackmailing Havelange by threatening to expose evidence of his corruption. The conflict ended with a private deal between mentor and protege. Under the agreement, Blatter would allow Havelange to remain in power until the 1998 FIFA World Cup. In return, Havelange promised to support Blatter's campaign to become the next FIFA president. During the 1998 presidential election, Blatter's main opponent was UEFA president Lennart Johansson. Johansson campaigned on promises of transparency, accountability, and democratic reform within FIFA. Blatter, however, secured crucial support from African and Caribbean nations through a combination of political promises and alleged bribery. A key figure behind that strategy was Jack Warner, the powerful football boss of the Caribbean. With Warner's support, Sepp Blatter won the election, marking the beginning of what many consider the darkest chapter in FIFA's history. Once in office, Blatter began distributing millions of dollars to football associations around the world under the banner of football development. In reality, many critics argued that the funding was designed to secure political loyalty and future votes. There was little oversight over how the money was actually spent. Even when questions were raised about financial misconduct within FIFA, Blatter avoided launching serious investigations, fearing that doing so could weaken his political support. Meanwhile, FIFA's longtime marketing partner, ISL, collapsed, leaving the organization facing a major financial crisis. Had FIFA been an ordinary private corporation, many believe it would have gone bankrupt. Instead, FIFA still controlled the world's biggest sporting event, the FIFA World Cup. Blatter used that enormous commercial power to strengthen his own position even further. During preparations for the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa, allegations surfaced that Jack Warner had accepted nearly $10 million in bribes. Even greater controversy surrounded the selection of the hosts for the 2018 and 2022 FIFA World Cups. Countries like England and the United States were widely viewed as the strongest candidates due to their existing stadiums, infrastructure, and transportation systems. Yet the hosting rights ultimately went to Russia and Qatar. Many critics alleged that the decisions were influenced by massive bribery rather than merit. Another influential figure in FIFA's corruption network was Mohammed bin Hammam, the head of Asian football. Using his political influence, he played a major role in helping Qatar secure the right to host the 2022 World Cup. Back in 1998, Blatter had reportedly promised bin Hammam that he would serve only 2 terms as FIFA president. Later, however, he broke that promise. Feeling betrayed, bin Hammam announced that he would challenge Blatter in the next presidential election. Their political alliance quickly turned into an open power struggle. Blatter continued promising financial benefits to FIFA member associations in exchange for support. Meanwhile, bin Hammam was accused of buying votes with the help of Jack Warner and other influential officials. The scandal finally exploded when Chuck Blazer, a senior FIFA executive from the United States, exposed the alleged vote-buying scheme. At first, Blazer appeared to be a whistleblower fighting corruption, but investigators later discovered that he had also profited heavily from FIFA's business operations. He reportedly collected commissions of 10% or even more from numerous FIFA events and commercial projects, using the money to fund an extraordinarily luxurious lifestyle in New York. When the FBI launched an investigation into Blazer, agents uncovered a much larger network of suspicious financial transactions connected to FIFA. Before money was transferred from FIFA's headquarters in Switzerland to other countries, it often passed through American banks. By tracking those transactions, investigators uncovered a long trail of questionable financial activity. Many of those banking records even used coded names for individuals and organizations. FIFA's financial operations were so secretive that investigators compared them to the methods used by organized crime syndicates. Some FBI officials later admitted that investigating FIFA proved even more difficult than investigating major mafia organizations. Finally, on May 27, 2015, after gathering years of evidence, the FBI arrested 11 senior FIFA officials. In total, more than 24 FIFA executives eventually faced corruption-related charges. Yet, despite the massive crackdown, the man many considered the organization's ultimate power broker, Sepp Blatter, managed to avoid arrest. He was, however, banned from all football-related activities through 2018. Following FIFA's so-called cleanup campaign, Gianni Infantino was elected president to serve the remainder of Sepp Blatter's term. He was later re-elected for full terms in 2019 and again in 2023. Many believed this would mark the end of FIFA's corruption era, but it didn't take long for critics to argue that the organization's old power structure had remained largely unchanged. After taking office, Infantino continued centralizing authority within FIFA. He expanded the FIFA World Cup, introduced new international competitions, and aggressively grew FIFA's commercial operations. As a result, FIFA's revenues reached record levels. At the same time, player unions, domestic leagues, and football clubs accused FIFA of prioritizing profits over player welfare by adding more tournaments to an already crowded schedule. According to critics, generating revenue has now become FIFA's primary objective, overshadowing the development of the sport itself. The 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar became one of the clearest examples of that criticism. From the moment Qatar was awarded the tournament, FIFA faced global scrutiny over allegations of bribery, corruption, human rights violations, and the deaths of migrant workers. Despite the controversy, FIFA continued to stand firmly behind Qatar. The reason, many argued, was simple. The Qatar World Cup became the most expensive tournament in history, involving hundreds of billions of dollars in commercial interests. Controversies have also followed the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Long before the tournament begins, Infantino developed a close relationship with Donald Trump. He attended Trump's inauguration ceremony and became a frequent visitor to the White House. The controversy intensified when, after Trump failed to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, Infantino personally presented him with a special award called the FIFA Peace Prize on behalf of FIFA. The move sparked criticism that FIFA had compromised its political neutrality. Critics also pointed out that Infantino had previously sought a similarly close personal relationship with Vladimir Putin during the Russia World Cup. Following the scandals surrounding Sepp Blatter, FIFA introduced a new rule limiting its presidents to a maximum of 12 years in office. However, Infantino did not count his initial 3-year partial term as part of that limit. As a result, he remains eligible to run again in 2027, potentially allowing him to stay in office until 2031. Critics argue that this is a loophole designed to extend his time in power. Under Infantino's leadership, FIFA's financial reserves have grown to tens of billions of dollars. Critics claim he has used those resources to strengthen support among football associations in smaller and less wealthy nations, helping secure votes in future presidential elections. Infantino has also faced allegations over secret meetings with Switzerland's Attorney General, leading to legal investigations. In addition, questions have repeatedly been raised about Infantino's personal expenses, luxury travel, private benefits, and the way FIFA's financial resources have been managed. Many analysts believe the real problem is not any single individual. Whether it was Havelange, Blatter, or Infantino, they argue that each has simply operated within the same system. According to those critics, FIFA has evolved into an organization where enormous wealth, concentrated power, and weak accountability have created an environment that resembles a mafia-style structure. If you enjoyed today's documentary, be sure to like this video and subscribe to FactFlix. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss our latest documentaries covering the world's most fascinating, controversial, and important stories. If you have a question, an opinion, or a topic you'd like us to cover next, leave it in the comments below. And if you found this documentary informative, share it with your friends and family. Here at FactFlix, we explore hidden history, global politics, science, technology, war, economics, and real-world events, always aiming to uncover the truth behind every story. Until next time, take care and stay safe. I'm Adam, and I'll see you again in another FactFlix documentary. Thanks for watching FactFlix. See you in the next documentary.